18 years. That is the gap, the void, the black hole in the most famous biography in human history. We know him as a baby in a manger. We know him as a 12-year-old boy debating scholars in the temple. And then the screen goes black. For 18 years, from age 12 to age 30, Jesus of Nazareth vanishes from the pages of the Bible. The church tells us these were silent years, years of sawdust, carpentry, and obscurity in a dusty village. They tell us nothing happened worth recording, but does that make sense? Does a man step out of the shadows at age 30, fully formed, with teachings so radical they shatter the Roman Empire and rewrite the architecture of human consciousness without preparation? What if the silence wasn't empty? What if it was a cover-up? Ancient manuscripts, found in Tibetan monasteries, oral traditions from the mystics of India, and forbidden Gnostic texts buried in the Egyptian sand tell a different story. They speak of a young traveler named Issa, a seeker who walked the Silk Road, a student of the Brahmins, an initiate of the Great Pyramid. Today, we are going to walk the path that the Gospels fear to tread. We will connect the dots between the Sermon on the Mount and the Bhagavad Gita. We will explore the lost years not as a gap, but as the crucible, the forge where the carpenter became the Christ. To understand the missing years, we must understand the world Jesus lived in. It wasn't a static, isolated bubble. It was the Pax Romana. The Silk Road was open. Ideas were the most valuable currency. A young man in Galilee, living near the trade route of would have seen caravans from the east. He would have heard tongues speaking of Dharma, of karma, of the endless cycles of rebirth. But he didn't have to look far for mysticism. Just miles from where John the Baptist preached, lived the Essenes. The Essenes were the third party of Judaism, neither Pharisees nor Sadducees. They were the mystics of the Dead Sea. They practiced baptism. They wore white. They spoke of the sons of light and the sons of darkness. Many scholars believe Jesus wasn't just influenced by them. He was likely one of them. But the Essenes were just the beginning. The apocryphal texts books, like the Gospel of Thomas or the Gospel of Philip, hint at a knowledge that goes far beyond Jewish law. They speak of a kingdom that is inside you, a light that exists before the world was made. Where did he learn this? If you look closely at his teachings, you start to see fingerprints that don't belong to Judea. In 1887, a Russian journalist named Nicolas Notovitch traveled to the Hemis Monastery in Ladakh, India. There, he claimed the monks showed him an ancient manuscript, the life of Saint Issa, best of the sons of men. The text described a young Israelite who arrived in India at age 14 to study the Vedas and Buddhism. The parallels are terrifying to the orthodox mind. Buddhism, teachings on nonviolence, ahimsa, overcoming desire, and compassion for all living things. Hinduism, the concept of the avatar God incarnate, in human form. Jesus, love your enemies. Be perfect as your Father is perfect. I and the Father are one. Did Jesus learn meditation from the yogis? Did he learn the parables of the Buddha? Or consider Egypt? The Gospel of the Holy 12 speaks of Jesus studying in the temple of Heliopolis. Egypt was the land of Thoth, the god of wisdom, the land of resurrection myths, like Osiris. If Jesus was initiated in the Great Pyramid, it explains his command over nature, his healing abilities, and his profound understanding of death as a doorway, not an end. This isn't about claiming Jesus was a Buddhist or an Egyptian priest. It's about recognizing the universal truth, the perennial philosophy. The lost years were not a vacation. They were a unification. Jesus was weaving the golden threads of global wisdom into a single, unbreakable rope that could pull humanity out of the pit of ignorance. Why does this matter to you, right now, in the 21st century? Because the lost years are not just history. They are a mirror. We all have lost years. We all have periods of silence, of struggle, of obscurity, moments where we feel like we are wandering in the desert, unseen and unheard. The church teaches you to look at Jesus. The lost years teach you to look like Jesus. To be a seeker. To leave the comfort of your village, your inherited beliefs, your societal programming, and Walk into the unknown to find the kingdom of God not in a building, but within your own consciousness. Jesus didn't return to Galilee with a new set of rules. He returned with a new state of being. He didn't say, "Worship me." He said, "Follow me. Follow me into the desert. Follow me into the silence. Follow me into the realization that you, too, are a son or daughter of the light." The lost years are the template for the spiritual awakening of every human being. Why did the Church erase these years? Why did the Council of Nicaea and subsequent editors of the Bible choose to leave an 80-year gap? The answer is simple. If Jesus is the only Son of God, who came down from heaven with a prepackaged divine mission, then the Church holds the keys to salvation. You need the Church to access him. But if Jesus was a man who became the Christ through initiation, study, and spiritual evolution, then the path is open to everyone. That is dangerous. That is heresy. That is freedom. The Gnostics knew this. They taught that the Christ consciousness is a seed in every heart. They were hunted down because they refused to bow to a hierarchy that claimed a monopoly on God. The lost years destroy the monopoly. They show a Jesus who is universal, not tribal, a Jesus who belongs to the world, not just to Rome. The silence of the Bible is not empty. It is pregnant with meaning. It is an invitation. The 18 missing years are a blank page, waiting for you to write your own journey of initiation. We are all wanderers. We are all essence in spirit. We are all seekers looking for the Dharma. Do not fear your own silence. Do not fear your own obscurity. It is in the shadows that the light is forged. Jesus emerged from the desert with a fire that changed the world. What will you bring back from your journey? If you want to walk further down this path, if you want to uncover the secrets of the Essenes and the hidden brotherhoods that shaped the early world, subscribe. The history you know is only the tip of the iceberg.